Hi everyone, I'm back just to give a impromptu little video that hopefully will explain the defect rate in regard to doing a return, and this is part of eBay's 2014 Spring Sellers Update. And I apologize if it's difficult to read anything that I'm showing you on my screen, my computer screen, but I just do not have time to sit down and make a video with cool, easy to read graphics, because I just have work that I have to get done. But I thought this might help with some of the confusion or misunderstanding that I see that's kind of going around in the reselling community. So first, the part that I wanted to address was right here, where it says, return initiated for a reason that indicates the item was not as described. Now personally, I think that is very poorly worded by eBay. So I called to really get an understanding about that. I called eBay and I talked with two different representatives. So I'll share the information with you right now. In my first conversation with the eBay representative, I asked about the hassle-free returns program because I opted into that last summer. And I did it after reflecting on something that Dallas Moore had said in a video or a hangout, that he had done that, and also that that it so far was working out for him, and that sometimes when eBay introduces something like this, it either can become mandatory, and now I'm not saying that it's going to become mandatory, but he's right. Sometimes I've been on eBay long enough to know that sometimes some things become mandatory, or they make it so that it really benefits to you to do it, or they give you some sort of perk. And I can honestly say, so far, it has really helped cut down on BS returns, for lack of a better way to say it. Okay, so what happens when a customer wants to make a return and you had opted into the hassle-free return program? I just copy and paste this little paragraph here. I just tell them that they locate the item in my eBay. They look to the right. There's a little triangle that drops down, a little drop-down menu, and then they hit that they want to start a return. And when they do that, then several boxes will come up and they have to click one for the reason for return. Now see, if you're not using the hassle-free returns program, this isn't going to happen. They don't have that. They can just, the only option they have is either to contact you or just to do not as described. Okay, so now if we look down here, the following will count, they do count as a defect if they check the box that says not as described, missing parts, or expired product. But here's the part that a lot of people do not know. The following do not count as a defect: no longer need or want the item, they found a better price, or the wrong size. It does, sorry about that, the computer just went off. The wrong size, it doesn't fit me. And since I mainly sell clothing, in my opinion, it benefits me to be in the hassle-free return program because they can just tick the box, the wrong size, it doesn't fit me, or they found a better price, which I know a lot of sellers don't like that, but that is the reality, again, my opinion, of selling clothes online. Sometimes people find a better price, or they are a size 12, but this size 12 just doesn't fit them right, okay? And I would much rather that they have the option to tick that and get the process started so that we can just mutually do a good return than to only have the option of opening a case, a SNAD, significantly not as described. And another thing that makes me feel like it's worth doing the returns is that me as a seller, I can set in my listings the number of days to return the item. Obviously I go with 14. Also, I can say who pays the postage. Personally, I say that the buyer is going to have to pay the postage because I give lots of excellent measurements and lots of photos in my listing, and I'm always able to take questions before they make a purchase. I also do charge a restocking fee, which is usually I go with 10 or 15%, and then you just deduct that before you return the money, after you receive your item back and after it is in the same condition as you sent out. Okay, now before going on to the other information, I'm going to give you a little bit more detail about the hassle-free returns. Okay, so if you are a seller who's signed up for hassle-free returns, the customer is going to see this before they can indicate to eBay that they're making a return. This is eBay's policy. And personally, again, just my opinion, but the customer is going to take eBay more seriously than they take me if I just tell them these are my policies. So these are eBay's policies. It says you must return an item in the same condition that it was received. You must also include in the same condition as it was received all packaging such as boxes, bags, and tags, accessories such as cords and remotes, certificates, manuals, warranty cards, free gifts or bonus items, all items included in a bundle. And then down below there are additional requirements depending on the category. So since I do clothing, let's take a look at the clothing. Okay, so let's see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Here's something that really bothers people when they do returns, sellers I mean, is that we don't want something back that has been worn. But as you can see here, if you read that, if you can read that, I'll read it. Items specified as new with tags must be unwashed, unworn, with original tags intact and original packaging. Other new items must be unwashed, unworn. Items that aren't in the condition in which they were received, including signs of wear or alteration, cannot be returned. So after speaking with an eBay representative, they told me it means if they get a pair of shoes or a dress, they can try it on, like in their bedroom, walk around in the shoes in their bedroom. If it doesn't fit, they need to put it back in the box. They can't take the shoes or the dress and wear them out somewhere. And then you're going to say, well, how do you know one way or another if they wore them? I know because I took really good pictures of the shoes, especially when I sell new vintage shoes or nearly new. And I can tell you honestly, I've had 4 people asked to do a return. I told them how to do it through the hassle-free returns. I told them I'm part of that. Click the button and get it going. And you know what? I never heard from them again because I know at least 3 of them, because they had it for so long, for nearly 2 weeks, and it was close to Halloween. They must have worn that dress and those shoes out to a party, and, you know, they read the policy that they can't return it, and so it must have made them think, well, you know what, I'm not going to push it, I'll just leave it as is, and they never returned it. So I thought before making this video I would call eBay again and just see what they say regarding sellers that don't use the hassle-free returns and do not accept returns, because I thought some of that would be some of you viewing this. So I called on March 20th, 2014. I don't know why I have an extra 0 in there, but okay. And the representative is Alma at 12:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically this is what he said, that an unsatisfied buyer would do one of 3 things. They're either going to do nothing and they're going to keep the item and they're going to be unhappy about it, and no, that will not count as a default. Or they will contact you, the buyer, directly, and the buyer will work out a return with you and the customer leaves happy or contented enough, and no, that will not be a default. But if the customer is unhappy and the customer either immediately files a SNAD, significantly not as described, or files a SNAD after contacting you, the seller, and not getting the results they wanted, then yes, that is a default too. So down here, if you put in your listing that you do not take the returns, well, it's basically the same as above. So I forgot to tell you too, with the hassle-free returns, they do say that they will back you up if you get a package or an item back that's not, like if someone wants to return a dress and they put the wrong dress in and send it back to me. They also told me that it is on the buyer to provide some sort of tracking. Like currently I have a customer in Canada who's returning a shirt, And if she doesn't provide tracking and I don't get it, it's her word against mine. And the eBay representative said, well, they would side with me because she should have had some kind of signature or tracking. So, you know, in the, what do you call it, the restocking fees, that covers some of the postage, the majority of the postage. And I know that returns, we don't want to do returns. Nobody really likes to do returns. But this is just my personal feelings, is that when you sell online, unless you are doing your own website, unless you are in some sort of co-op, you're going to need to do, you have to follow the rules of the venue that you're selling at. And I think, again, this is just my opinion, but I feel like a lot of resellers look at eBay to be a fair and impartial judge. And I think they're not really seeing that, again, this is my opinion, but eBay is not a fair and impartial judge. eBay is Caesar. And if you want to sell in Caesar's arena, you need to be on the good side of Caesar and follow Caesar's laws, which could change at any time because it's Caesar, right? So I don't work at a loss because a business can't stay in business if they're always working at a loss. So I have to pass my losses on to my customers, which is what every business that stays in business has to do. But that's an entirely different video. So I'll leave you with this. I hope it was useful. I will try to answer any comments that you have below. Good night.